really sorry I was unable to come to Monaco and be with you today. I could not travel because of the pandemic. Today we'll be talking about novel modalities for skin repair and hair growth. Human hair growth has different phases: anagen, catagen, telogen. The telogen has different phases like resting and exogen. And then you have again the early anagen phase. People typically lose 50 to 100 hairs daily. This is very common, and usually nobody notices because hair is growing at the same time. Causes of hair loss is heredity and genetics, hormones, inflammation, gender, age, stress, medical reasons, chemotherapy, infections, etc. Inflammation is one of the main reasons why people lose their hair. Recently has been a female pattern for hair loss that is associated with the increased risk of cardiovascular disease because of this inflammation. Hair loss is associated with inflammation. There's a lot of articles. I won't be able to go through them because of the time restriction. However, all future therapeutic hair treatments must consider inflammation. There is a lot of evidence for inflammatory infiltrates like lymphocytes and histiocytes, inflammatory genes like C, A, SP7, and T and F. Hair treatments include topical agents like caffeine, metformin, etc., oral agents like pharmaceuticals, nutraceuticals, platelet-rich plasma, and energy-driven therapies, low-level laser therapy, laser-assisted drug delivery, RF, etc., and supplements, and a lot of other treatments that we'll be talking about shortly. The same technology used for hair removal is also used for hair growth. There is a lot of research also using radiofrequency. However, sometimes they use combined treatments. Several reports of escalated inflammation have been given from a number of scholars following radiofrequency procedures. Radiofrequency could be replacing pre-existing inflammation in the hair loss process with radiofrequency-induced inflammation. So it may be like a vicious circle. We conducted the clinical studies on skin and hair with a novel technology. The hair study, the results are after 3 or 4 treatments, before and after 3 months. Some of these studies have been published in international journals. And some of these journals are here. There's also a book that I wrote. Clinical studies on hair growth, some of the results are seen here. The left is the before, the right, the after is the after. Same thing here, before, after. Same thing before, after, that is after the 4th treatment, same patient. Here, the left is the after and the right is the before. Same thing, the left is the after and the right is the before. Again, the left is the after and the right is the before. And again, here you can see this is the last treatment and you can see some substantial hair growth. Now let's talk about skin. The skin responds to injury with a series of dynamic processes: coagulation, inflammation, tissue formation, remodeling, etc. This research has been published. It's an article by myself and Dr. Lampe. Persistent inflammation, again, appears to be the main component that underlies abnormal healing. There is a lot of research on that, inflammation that is present in adults, but not in embryonic wounds. Chronic persistent inflammation is the hallmark of the most chronic wounds. Another very important issue is dysregulated or overly excited signaling pathways that underlie abnormal healing. And again, there is a lot of research associated with this abnormal healing. Dysregulated signaling is equal to abnormal healing. Keloid and hypertrophic scars are dysregulated signaling causing aberrant wound activity. Laser efficacy on wounds in keloid hypertrophic scars. There are side effects like ulceration and hyperpigmentation. They do report some results. However, 34 to 24% of these patients get no results, and 21 to 35 of these patients that did get results get a keloid reoccurrence. the laser efficiency on wounds and keloids and hypertrophic scars. Sometimes these investigators do not seem to have the statistical significance that they're documenting. Investigators report a significance at P less than 0.01%. That's 99% of the subjects. But then when you look at the data, you look that only 36% had a clear size reduction, not 99%. 45% had a slight reduction, and 18% had no change. So what they're reporting are not statistically significant results. Endogenous ionic currents have been observed after when the skin is wounded, our body creates endogenous ionic currents inside. It actually creates them for us to create the wound. And from that research, has evolved a lot of research on ionic currents that do produce quite dramatic results. And this is the before and after under the microscope from some of these research studies. There is another new technology, the one that we used, basically. It works through resonance and through ultra low energies, and it does not involve any production of heat. The signals must be delivered at ultra low energies below thermal noise, and this is the book that gives the mathematical formula that provides this, how to get to these low energies. And at these energies, the ion channels open up so you can insert signals. Researchers have postulated that the steady stream of electrons emitted by this device into the skin acts as a super antioxidant that reduces inflammation. It's like a time reversal process. And this is what happened. Molecular mechanisms actually are prone to time reversal. It's incredible. GDP becomes GTP, ATP becomes ADP, AMP, and then back. In molecular systems, there's a time reversal process that occurs routinely. We do not have it. We cannot go back in time, but molecular mechanisms go back in time routinely. How does resonance work? Resonance affects several aspects of the cellular system, amplifying certain processes and diminishing others depending on signal interaction. And here you see a protein and how this protein affects another protein. You see there is a response in the protein through this resonant process, and it's not radiative quantum mechanical process that does not require collision or heat. Resonance transfer can be observed by the Jablonski diagram, and this is the microscope that can actually observe it. It's very elaborate. And this is the signal processing blueprints, how the signals are made. The signals are composed by complex waveforms, and this is an example of how these waveforms are combined, the totally different waveforms that are combined to create a signal. There's another very important aspect of this, the timing within the cell. Every single cell in our body is controlled by its own circadian clock. Disruption of cellular circadian rhythms is followed by a disruption in cellular communications. And this is the Nobel Prize, Physics and Medicine, that they looked at the molecular mechanisms and how they control circadian rhythms to improve our health. And they were even looking at cancer. Recent studies have already linked the skin circadian clock to psoriasis. And this is some studies on psoriasis by Veronica Yat in Singapore. Another study, this is the same clinical study. This is the diabetic wounds that we included in our study with Dr. Lampe. This is 8 treatments before and after. This is a diabetic wound that completely healed and there was no recurrence. This is a liposuction wound that showed quite good repair. This is a postoperative skin cancer wound before and after 6 treatments, and you can see quite big improvement there. Another diabetic wound, and this is 1 year later. As you can see, there was no recurrence. This is a study that we did on the wounds with the varicella zoster virus. And this is the before and the after. This is again the same patient before and after. So only 2 treatments, she responded very fast and very well. She was 87 years old. So age does not play a difference. This is a before and after for rejuvenation and hair growth. Keloid scars and stretch marks are the results of untimely, unbalanced processes. This is the before and after. This is another patient of Dr. Lambert, and that was included in the study that I wrote with her and I published. This is just 20 minutes within the treatment. You can see the discolorations have improved. Stretch marks, discolorations significantly improved after 20 minutes of treatment. Can you unboil an egg? And the answer, is that possible? Can we really go back in time? And the answer is yes. You can actually fold the natural proteins, and that's how you can sort of unboil an egg. And how do we do that? We do it through resonance, and several scientists have succeeded in folding proteins through plasma resonance. And there is a test, there is a measurement test, the second virial coefficient, SVC measurements, that measures protein aggregation and protein, and how when the protein aggregation decreases, then the protein refolding is successful. And with this, I would like to thank you very much for your kind attention. If you have any questions, please email me at science@ileos.com. I will answer the email immediately or as soon as I can. Thank you very much.